Greetings. Welcome. I'm Reverend Deborah Johnson, Rev D. Welcome to Inner Light Ministries, to our virtual time that we have to just come together in a spiritual community. We broadcast live at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings Pacific time. But regardless of what time it is, wherever you are, or whatever time it is that you tune into this, we know it's always the right time. It's always the right time. So I invite you to just take a breath. Hmm. And we just open up sacred space here. We turn within and we allow ourselves to be awake, alive, available, in alignment with the divine. We drop the shields, the armor. We tell the monkey mind to be still, while we give ourselves a chance to be fully present. Fully present as we explore what does this mean to be receptive to divine guidance. It's happening all the time. So, whatever the dramas du jour are, whatever it is that's vying for our attention, we just put it aside for a moment. This is our time. This is the time that we take to be still, to commune with the divine, to be present with one another. We just breathe that in. And it is with this level of deep intention that we begin our time together. Hmm. Inner Light is a spiritual community. We are a collaborative network of individuals, of organizations across a wide variety and spectrum of backgrounds, of ideologies, of different kinds of spiritual beliefs and practices, of political persuasions and gender expressions, and on and on. We are inclusive, radically inclusive. We don't believe in othering. There's only one of us here. Now, we may not always get along. We may not always like each other in terms of how we all show up in the outer world. But we love everyone as our neighbor. And part of what being in spiritual community is about is learning how to figure that out, how to listen, how to be present, to not be dismissive. I'm saying these things very specifically now as we start to go into the full on political campaign season in the United States, starting off with the Republican convention in Milwaukee in a few days. And just, it's like, just everybody take a breath. Okay. There's so much tension and anxiety that's going on all over the place. And we're coming here a spiritual community amongst this and all of the other things that are going on in the world, uh, to reground, okay, to get centered, to remember that God is God, okay, not people, places, and things. Okay, do not make a God out of people, places, and things. How do you make a God out of something? When you allow it to define your possibilities. Okay. People, places, and things do not define our possibilities. At Inner Light, we are about healing, we're about growth, we're about transformation on both the individual and the collective level. We honor paths that are leading to spiritual truth, paths that are leading to equality and social justice, paths that are leading to environmental sustainability and regeneration. We don't all have to look alike. We don't all have to be doing it the exact same way. So even as you're listening to this message now, you may need to translate it. You may need to put it in a language that you understand. If I use the term God, I'm not talking about some old white man up in the sky throwing down lightning bolts. I'm talking about the creative energy that is the life force out of which everything comes that connects us all. You may call it something else, but whatever that is, let's not get stuck on the language, and let's go to that place of the deep listening. One of the things that we offer at Innerlight every week are these tools for living. They are ways to practically apply the universal spiritual principles to all of life's circumstances. One of the regular tools that we offer are affirmative activations. These are 100 words to change your life. We introduce them to you here so that you may get exposed to them, but we invite you to come back, to say them, to repeat them often enough that they find a resting place in your heart and can take root and bear very, very delicious and productive fruit in your life. They are about to come on your screen now. And if you're able to, I invite you to say the affirmations with me. I always rise to the occasion. I am open and receptive to divine guidance. I allow myself to live from a place of non attachment. I choose to serve the highest good beyond my comfort zone. I trust the divine for my inspiration, sustenance, and sustainability. I surrender my need to control and relax in infinite love, wisdom, and intelligence. I create the space in my life to be still and to listen. I heed what I hear and quickly adhere to the inner nudging. I choose spirit as first choice, not last resort. Not my will, but thine be done. I invite you to sit here a moment with these activations and see if you're drawn into any ones in particular. Maybe it's I create the space in my life to be still and to listen. Perhaps it's I always rise to the occasion. Maybe it's I choose spirit as first choice, not last resort. Or I allow myself to live from a place of non attachment. Whatever it is that's calling you. Over this next week in particular, I invite you to really hone in on that. Let it be a focal point of your attention. Grasp the whole, but really, like we say, if you work it, it'll work you. Okay? If it's pulling you, it has a message for you. Just breathe it in. And I am going to invite now into our virtual space a virtual music offering. It's a video from one of the musicians in the community who's really near and dear to our heart. He puts out some wonderful, wonderful, sensitive music. Mr. Gary Lynn Floyd with Love, Cover Me.
As time has unfolded me, it has revealed to me life's nothing less than sublime. With every thought I make, every last breath I take, may I be gracious and kind. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Kindness wash over me, make me a symphony, play every note you can find. Make me reverberate, gently deactivate, slowly flow out of my mind. Find me a melody, dance and let my anthem be. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. 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 I will not be shaken. I will not be moved. Love, cover me. May my heart awaken, tenderness be proved. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love.
Let's just breathe that in. Such a beautiful song by Gary Lynn Floyd and Danny Lee Miller. Love, cover me. What a beautiful setup for our topic today about being receptive to divine guidance. Receptive. You know, it takes cultivation to be receptive. It doesn't just happen to us. The receptivity is something that we have to provide the space for. Okay, there has to be an energetic alignment, a willingness to move and to go in a certain kind of direction, a lack of resistance. And in fact, at the end, when we're doing announcements, I'll be sharing with you about a workshop that I have coming up actually in a few days about spiritual sustainability, where we're going to be doing metaphysical Bible interpretation. And one of the parables that we're going to be using is a parable of the sower and the seed that talks about how is it that we become receptive in the parable. And I don't want to go through all of it now. Go to the workshop if you have time. But essentially what it's explaining is that a seed is to the soil the way that ideas are to our minds. Okay. For an idea to really get into a position where it can blossom into something, like it has to be planted. So often we're going around trying to make sure that we have like all the right perfect seeds, when it's the fertility of our own consciousness that is most important. And in this parable, it talks about like 4 kinds of soil that this seed falls into, and what happens in each of those different kinds of soil, where it's work that we have to do in order to make our consciousness a place where that idea can grow. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. After The Sacred Yes, my first book in volumes, my first book, volume 1 of Letters from the Infinite, when that was first published, actually back in 2002. They are a collection of these spirit letters that I get. They're just these downloads. There was a message that came to me after that was published. And it was a nuance that I really hadn't paid attention to in all these years of receiving these letters. And the spirit voice was explaining to me that there was a difference between a notion, an idea, a concept, and a belief. A notion, an idea, a concept, and a belief. So a notion is basically like a fleeting thought. It doesn't stick around, it doesn't stay, kind of comes up and it goes. Nothing really happens with it because essentially it didn't get planted anywhere, just kind of in one ear, out the other. So it's an idea is a little bit more than a notion, because an idea starts to shake shape and it starts to take form. That an idea can capture imagination. Okay, there's something that's kind of vibrant about an idea that's more than just a notion. And ideas are things that you spread or people might be able to share with one another. So, but these ideas are just like abstract concepts. They're just abstract things that we're thinking about, but that they don't become concepts until they are conceived. Just let that sink in for a moment. It said a concept is something that you can actually work with. You can actually do something with it. A concept can become like a guiding principle. It's a way of framing things. It provides a container, like of holding different kind of ideas and whatnot together. So, but the only way it can become a concept is if it is conceived. And it can't be conceived unless the soil is fertile. So, what it was explaining to me is that things like liberty, justice, freedom, equality for all. It said, in your society, they are at best ideas. For most people, they're just a notion, but they are at best ideas. They haven't become actually concepts yet because they haven't been conceived. As a whole, your nation hasn't been fertile soil enough to really conceive them. That is powerful when you think about it. And it was going on and explaining that in our early days, like the Declaration of Independence and the preamble to that, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal and are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It said those were great ideas, and ideas that are still full of promise and potential because they are spiritual ideas. That's actually a spiritual truth. But it was just an idea that the man who wrote that had hundreds of slaves. So that idea hadn't even fully been conceived within his own being. So sometimes we will turn our backs on or throw out ideas or concepts because we don't see it rooted enough, or we think there's a lot of hypocrisy, that the people who are espousing them aren't living them. Well, Jefferson wasn't living that either. But look at the number of democracies that it has inspired through the centuries, the guiding light that it becomes for us, that we are the ones that move it from being just a notion to an idea to a concept to, and when you really embody the concept, then it becomes a belief. Ooh. When you embody the concept, then it becomes a belief. The problem with this, however, is that we can conceive anything. All the ideas out there aren't the truth. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of disinformation. And I'm not just talking about in the social political arena. Up here in your own mind, we have misinformation. We have disinformation that's going on up there. We have ideas like we're not good enough. We have ideas of separation and division, of othering. We have ideas of not enoughness, insufficiency. We have whole concepts that have been institutionalized and indoctrinated into our social systems about equality and justice and fairness. But we're doing that in our own lives. See, we're doing it in our own lives. And whatever it is that we are fertile soil for becomes our belief. Whatever concept we are fertile soil for becomes our belief. So if you are fertile soil for I'm not good enough, that becomes your belief. If you become fertile soil for the idea that I can never have anything in common with these people over here, I can never forgive them, I can never have any empathy, that becomes your belief. That becomes where you live. But here's the good news. We control the fertility. We control the receptivity of our mind. Isn't that wonderful? We're not stuck. We're not stuck with old beliefs and old patterns, whether they've come from ourselves, whether they've come from the outside, whether it's come from ancestral lineage or anything else out there, paradigms, social mores. You get to choose. You get to choose what your belief system is. So, what are the ideas that we're going to foster? What are the ideas that we're going to nurture? What? See, here's the thing. We don't have to know all of the ins and the outs or the wherefores or how things are going to happen before we can believe in them. Some of us want all the proof that it's gonna be before I believe that it can be. But that's not the way that it works. We don't get the evidence first, which then gives us the permission to have the belief. It's the other way around. The evidence comes out of our beliefs. So, whatever it is that you believe, that's what you manifest. That's what it is that you see. I- If you're in the hospital, let's just say you have some kind of tumor or something like that, or they're not quite sure what it is and they're doing autopsies, or perhaps you're going there, they are sure, and you're going under surgery. You don't have to understand everything about the body. You don't have to understand what every cell has to do, what every system has to do, all of the things that the health professionals have to do, and all the ways in which the body has to respond. You don't have to know all of that. All you have to do is have the belief in health. That's all. Okay. You just have to be able to have the out picturing in your mind, the out picturing in the way that you're showing up in your speech, the ways that you're acting, the the feelings and the emotions that you're putting out there. You just have to have the internal resonance, the internal vibration with this thing called health. and all of its potential and all of its possibilities. You just have to anchor there unwaveringly. Unwaveringly. We call that prayer. Okay. You may call it something else. We call that prayer. When you can do that, and when you can stay there, or I should say, keep coming back to it, because we're human beings and we get into doubts and fears and worries and distractions and all other kinds of things. But when we keep coming back and we keep reinforcing, we're able to see the fruit of that. Okay. You don't have to know how. You don't have to know how your relationship is going to get healed. You don't have to know how your kid is going to get out of the jams and the circumstances and whatnot that they're in. Guess what? We don't have to know that about our society either. How many of us are whining and complaining and getting all frustrated and upset, trying to micromanage all the socio-political systems? And I'm not saying don't be active or don't be involved. Don't get my message twisted here. What I'm saying is that idea that we think that we can control everything, or if we don't control it, that everything's going to go to hell in a handbag. See, just because we personally are not in control doesn't mean everything is out of control. There is divine order. There is right action. Just as there is with your body temple, so it is with the political body. So it is with your entire body of affairs. Your job is not to be able to see and understand how everything gets from A to B. Your job is just to affirm that there's such a thing as a B. And if it's not that B, then it's another B. Maybe it's C, D, X, Y, and Z. Who knows? Okay. You don't have to have attachment to what it looks like on the other end. Okay. We just have to be receptive to that inner wisdom, that divine guidance that says, don't give up. That divine guidance that says, don't get stuck on the appearances. That divine guidance that says, I am God. Don't make a God out of people, places, and things. Don't let them define your possibilities. Don't do it, because there's so much more than what meets the eye. See, that divine guidance within us, it's always calling us up and it's always calling us out. It never gets stuck on probabilities or statistics or, heaven forbid, polls, opinion polls. The divine don't care about all that. The divine doesn't care about all that. If you're there on that hospital bed and let's say it says something with your heart, something with your lungs, the universe doesn't care about everybody's opinion about livers or hearts or kidneys or anything else. The universe, this life force, this energetic healing principle, property, it don't even care why you're there. Okay? We're spending so much time analyzing how do we get into this mess, or how do we get into that jam, and thinking that the resolution or solution is dependent upon how we got there. No. Just no. Okay? If you're laying there in the hospital bed, the universe doesn't care. It doesn't care. If there's something that needs to be repaired, something that needs to be healed or whatever with your lungs, the universe isn't going, well, You have asthma, and your mama had asthma, and your granddaddy and your great granddaddy. So I don't know. This just runs in your family. The universe isn't going to go, well, you were a smoker in your early days. You kind of made your bed, lie in it. It's not worried about maybe you were in a car accident and you got smashed up against the car door or the dashboard. Maybe you got shot. Okay. And it's not going to make a distinction between whether you were an innocent bystander who got shot or whether you were part of the shoot 'em up itself. Okay. The healing properties within are not parsing themselves out and deciding if they're going to work or if they're not going to work, depending upon all of the outer circumstances and the conditions and how all of that came to be. Listen to what I'm saying. This is true for everything in your life. If there's a financial need, the universe isn't stuck on, well, you're old and you're on a fixed income. Don't expect too much. It's not going, well, women have always made less on the dollar than men. So you can't really expect to get equal pay here. No. It's not saying, well, you had a little bit of money and you blew it. Or, gee, you never had a chance. You didn't have a dad and you grew up in foster home and tough luck, kid. It's no, no, no. Nothing is being withheld because of what anybody has done anywhere. You just show up with your yes. That's all. That's all. Your gifts, your potentiality, it's still yours. You're going to take it wherever you go. If you wind up in prison, you still have it. If it is your calling to be of service, then you'll just be of service in prison. If it's your calling to sing and to make music, you'll just sing in prison. Okay? Whatever is you and yours, you've got to step into it and claim it as the I am that I am. And the same claiming that we do in an individual level, we have to do on the collective level. Listen to what I'm saying. Let go of any excuses or anything in your mind of why not. Just as you would stand for health in the body temple, all systems working, all of them, vibrancy, chi, alignment, flexibility, stamina, endurance, ease and flow of breathing, no blockages, obstruction. Just as you pray for that without ceasing, so must we do with everything, including our body politic, your financial bodies, your relational bodies, your emotional body, whatever it is. Okay. It's the same thing where we treat the world, we treat our nation the same way that we would a physical body in a hospital. We're praying for full health. We're praying for that. We're praying for all of the systems, all of the people all of the different parts and aspects to be mutually supportive of one another, to all work together, all work together. You know, the left lung can't be condemning the right lung, and the right lung can't be condemning the left lung. No, your left leg can't refuse to move because of what the right leg is doing. No, your right eye can't refuse to see because it doesn't want to share the same space or look at what the left eye is looking at. No, it just doesn't work that way. Just as our bodies have a perfect symmetry and everything's working together, so it is. So it is in all of life. And I invite you into this kind of boldness of seeing, this kind of boldness of thinking, to move the ideas of equality and justice, of liberty and freedom, of healing and wholeness, compassion and love, to move these things from notions to ideas to concepts to actual beliefs. Actual beliefs. Okay. And I'll end on this. It's an interesting thing about beliefs. Remember, I said before that we tend to want to see the evidence of things before we have like the full-on belief. We want to know that it can be so before we believe that it will be so or can be so, before we even believe that it could possibly be so. Beliefs don't work that way. Information does not change beliefs. That's good news and that's bad news. Okay? It's bad news because when we have bought into, as I said earlier, and embodied the mistruths, the half truths, the misinformation, and all of the rest of that, this proof that doesn't exist, statistics, probability, or whatnot, it's not going to shift you. It's not going to shift you. Okay. You have to give yourself permission to shift. In spite of the so-called facts. Okay. Not because of them. In spite of them. See, that's the bad news. But here's the good news about the facts, about that facts don't influence our beliefs. They don't automatically change them, is what I should say. Just introducing new facts doesn't shift the belief. Because of that, you can stand on something. See, because of that, you can hold on to your belief of possibility so unwaveringly that you're not constantly searching and looking for some reason to stop believing it or some reason why it won't be true. See, when you're praying for the health and you have your eye on that, you're not going up and down with every report back from the doctor. In fact, chances are you're not even paying attention that much to every little report because you're keeping your eye pure. Okay. Keep your eye on the prize. In the social political arena, it's the same way. Keep your eye on the prize and don't let your possibility belief keep going up and down with every little fact that appears to be showing up. When you're receptive to that divine guidance, we're upheld, we're uplifted, we're comforted, and we are inspired. Take a breath. Take a breath. And we're going to take this into prayer. How grateful we are to stand in the awareness that God is all that there is. We have the audacity to claim peace. Be still. We claim peace, be still, when in the middle of the storm. Peace, be still. Even when we're just looking off into the horizon and it looks like it might be coming down the path, peace, be still. Our God is an awesome God. Good all of the time. Not just constitutionally good, just good in a benevolent way, where it's meant to be good, mutually beneficial to all. And being one with the divine, this is where we stand. Let our lives be a blessing to all, starting with our own selves. May every thought, word, deed, may every emotion, may every vibration be uplifting and inspiring. May we walk hand in hand in compassion and empathy, mutual caring. I speak a word in this moment. I speak a word for our capacity as human beings to live the freedom that is our divine right. To be able to cohabitate together in community. To be able to share, to care, to provide for, to be good stewards of the earth, of her bounty, which we share with all. We have the audacity in this moment to dare to believe beyond all belief. In wholeness, in integration, in integrity. Dare to believe in possibility. Where hope forever springs eternal. All needs met. Food for our bodies. Food for our minds and our spirit. Clothing and shelter. Clean air, clean water. Education. Medical care. Community. Opportunity. Support. All of that. So that we thrive. We're not just getting by. Oh, Mother, Father, God, how sweet it is. We call forth peace everywhere, in this country and other countries. Peace in our house, peace in the White House. Peace within our own selves. We know that it's done. The sufficiency, it's done. The abundance, the prosperity, it's done. We just get out the way. We allow it to be. And so it is. So it is. You know, we're a praying community at Inner Light. We pray for all the prayer requests that come in. And if there's something that's on your heart, something that you want us to pray for, it could be a personal matter, it could be something with somebody else, it could be something going on in the world, it could even be something good, and you just want somebody standing there with you. You see, scrolling across your screen, there's ways that you can reach us. You can call us at 831-465-9090 at extension 254. You can also send us an email. The number 4, the word prayer, at innerlightministries.com. We're there for you. We hold you, we see you, we believe in you. We've got your back in prayer. We just breathe it in. Thank you. Yes. We invite you. We invite you to be a part of this community, to participate with us. You can check us out on our calendar and see the various events and things that we have going on. Something in particular, a couple of things in particular I'd like to bring to your attention. There's a community meeting that we're going to be having, and that's going to be Wednesday, July the 24th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. And it's going to be via Zoom. Those of you who are in the Santa Cruz area, you can also go to the office, like in person. It's open to all. Okay, we're going to be doing a mid-year review, talking about, future directions. We're not a membership organization. It's anybody who participates. So if you feel a call to want to go even deeper and find ways that you can support and be involved and help give some strategic direction, please attend. Another thing I'd like to bring to your attention is a summer workshop series that I have going on. And what you'll see is that there are 4 different workshops that I'm doing this summer. One actually just passed on gender, and there's an intro to that that's on YouTube that you can take a look at there. The upcoming workshop that I mentioned earlier, Spiritual Availability, it's a metaphysical Bible interpretation class. We're looking at 2 parables, the parable of the sower and the seed, and of the 2 foundations, about what do we need to do in order to be receptive. The 3rd workshop that starts in August, it's on Monday evenings in August. Change your story, change your life. We're going to be talking about how we get off the victim, villain, hero triangle. Okay, how do we depolarize, and how do we find ways to shift our narrative so that we can actually have a different experience And in the fourth workshop there on Thursday evenings, we're going to be using those spiritual downloads, the sacred yes, your deepest intent. How do we depolarize? How do we say yes to peaceful coexistence? Okay. So there's a wide array of things that are available to you. There's early discount for early registrations, and I hope to see you in some of those. If you can't attend all of them, everything is recorded it, so all the participants get all the materials and whatnot afterwards. These are not webinars. Okay, they are highly, highly interactive. Okay, you work with other people in groups. We engage each other. There's assignments that you do, and I promise you that they're a lot of fun, as well as great opportunities to grow. And now is our time of conscious contribution and conscious giving. I appreciate so much each and every one of you, and the donations that you make and the recurring donations that you make. You'll see on your screen that there are some different ways in which you are able to do that. There's a QR code that will take you straight to a spot. It's a PayPal portal, but you can use any debit or credit card. The same is true with the text to give, where if you choose that as an option on your phone, you can use any debit, credit card. You can even set it up so that it's an ACH or a debit that's coming from your bank and you're controlling all of that. It too has a reoccurring option on there. And that's a really good method to use, in addition to the other, if you want to be able to do a recurring. The difference, and we're being more specific about this now, is that to do the recurring with the QR code, that would take a PayPal account. But in the text to give, you don't need that. You can just do it on your own through the portal Simple Give, which is the platform that we use, a lot of churches use. Safe, secure, you can do that there. There's also Cash App and the donate button that's right there on the website if you are there. Remember that it's not a one-way street, okay? That your generosity returns to you. Okay, we receive with the same graciousness in which we give. We receive with the same graciousness with which we give. So I invite you to come back to this, to share it with a friend or a family member. I invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. There are not only these particular offerings, but what we do with our Sunday gatherings as well. The once a month are also available, including this latest one that we just did on the 7th with Jamie Lula. It's really, really good. Strong message and time that we had together. So we invite you to check that out. Put these things into practice, okay? As we always say here, we want you to take this consciousness and multiply it. See you next time. Hope you come to the community meeting.